Welcome back. I'm a goth and I read a lot. Welcome in. I am going to be giving you my very best extreme horror and splatterpunk book recs. If you are new to the channel, you might not know, but I read a lot of extreme horror and splatterpunk. Yeah, I've done quite a few reading vlogs of me reading extreme horror books. They're fun, they're gory, they're just disgusting and sick. So I'm going to give you 10 of my best recommendations. These 10 are my absolute favorite. So if you are looking to get into extreme horror, you want to know which ones I like the best, this is the video for you. Before I get started, go ahead and subscribe and follow me on TikTok and Instagram for more extreme horror and spooky book recs. Grab a drink, sit down, get a snack maybe, I don't know. This is my warning to you right now. These books, if you choose to read them, are very, very triggering and very disgusting, very disturbing. Okay, anything you can think of that would be triggering, they are in these books. So the first book that I want to talk about is a book that I read really recently. I read it in my most recent reading vlog, and that is Meat by Burgin. This book, wow, this is an erotic horror, a body horror, and it follows a girl who is basically addicted to gore. She's not just addicted to gore, she's addicted to body horror. She likes body horror, she likes like transformations and cannibalism and like cutting people up and stuff. Like that's the kind of thing that she likes. So she used to watch things like Tusk. It gets her off, okay? She's living a normal life at her office job, whatever, pretty lonely, but you know, just a normal life. And then she finds this website on the dark web that you can sell pieces of your body. So like people will meet up with you in this warehouse. Well, first you like bid. It's like eBay. You say like, I'm gonna give an inch of skin from my upper thigh, and then people bid on it, and then you go meet them in person, they cut it off of you and eat it. So she decides to do it. And this book basically just follows her spiraling as she sells more and more of herself. And it all culminates in this big, crazy clusterfuck of blood and guts and sex and disgustingness. It was really good. I love it. It's quite short. It's under 100 pages. I loved it. It's on Godless. If you don't know, Godless is a independent bookseller and book publisher exclusively for extreme horror and horror books. They have pretty cheap ebooks. I get a lot of my books from there, so that's a really good one. Next, we have another one that's on Godless because it was actually banned on Amazon. It's Little Red Riding the Dark Web by Anne Snow. I'm actually on Anne Snow's street team. I'm a big fan, and I just got added to her street team, so I'm putting in the work and I'm recommending you this book because it is so good. Little Red Riding the Dark Web is actually the fourth book in Anne Snow's Fairy Tales for Freaks series. The rest of them are coming out in an anthology collection, I think at the end of this year. But Little Red Riding the Dark Web can be read as a standalone. It's basically about this girl named Ruby who is addicted to self-harming, but not just addicted to self-harming. She's addicted to cutting herself and posting pictures of it on gore forums on Facebook and Reddit for attention so that people will tell her like, trigger warning, people will tell her like cut deeper and like all this stuff, and it just, she likes the attention. And one day she gets contacted on Discord by a man named Raptor, and he basically opens her eyes to this new world of, again, the dark web and all the different possibilities that there can be for torturing yourself, getting attention, harming yourself, getting attention, harming others. And he lures her into this kind of trap where they make videos together, and it was insane. When I'm telling you, it is insane. Like this book, it stuck with me. I read it only like a week and a half ago. I read it in my most recent reading vlog, but it just, there was emotion and like an inkling of a romance, but it's definitely not the main point. And the romance is not like, aw, it's like, oh my god, she's really has feelings for him. Like that's crazy because he is, it's just, everybody's fucked up. It's so disgusting. It's so good. I really recommend it if you like dark web stories, if you want to get into Anne Snow, if you're part of the splatterpunk like extreme horror Instagram space. Probably heard of Anne Snow by now. She's been really blowing up this past year as she made her debut, and I am a little biased because I'm on her street team and I'm a fan, but it's a very good book. Next up, we have a book that some people don't categorize as extreme horror because it's like more literary, but I still think it's extreme horror. I don't know why people don't consider it that, and that's Tender is the Flesh. Tender is the Flesh. Wow, this book I also read in a vlog, but it's like from like a year and a half ago, so I don't know if you want to go watch that because it's probably a really shitty vlog. I haven't watched it since, so I don't know. But Tender is the Flesh is basically a dystopian novel, kind of, I guess, in a world where people are being sold as basically like cattle. Usually like the lower class, they get abducted and trafficked and they farm people like pigs. I think I read this a really long time ago, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because there's like a meat shortage, like there's no more food, so they had to start farming and breeding people and eating them. So these people, they're human, they're sentient, like they're literally like you and me, but they don't know how to read, they don't know how to speak, they don't know how to communicate because they're just kept in these close conditions and slaughtered. Like they're kept like animals. And this book follows a man who basically falls in love, I guess, with a woman that he bought to eat, because like the richest of the rich can buy one individual person and, you know, fatten them up and then serve them for Christmas dinner or whatever. So he was planning on doing that, and then he has to hide the secret from his wife that he is in love with this woman who can't even speak, doesn't understand consent, doesn't understand anything. It is very dark. It is quite a tough read because of the way that it's written is so on the nose of like reflecting on the actual world that we live in, and like how you can, when you're reading it, you can almost imagine how we could get to this point, which is really scary, obviously. So it was quite something. So that's one that I really recommend. Next is a book that I feel I have to reiterate: trigger warnings. This book, out of all the books on the list, I mean, I probably should have saved it for last. This book, out of all the books on the list, is the most disgusting, horrifying, like will never leave my brain, permanently ingrained in my head in a bad way. This book, it is Cows. You've probably heard of Cows. I feel like it's in so many thumbnails of people like, I tried extreme horror, I tried reading extreme horror, and it was actually in my first extreme horror reading vlog. It was one of the first extreme horror books I read, which I don't recommend that. It is genuinely disgusting in every way, and I want to give just a million trigger warnings, especially for bestiality. Very graphic bestiality. This book is about a man who is a bum. He's living with his mom, who is abusive and crazy, and they live in a pigsty. Like, it is just disgusting. There's shit on the floor, there's vomit on the floor, there's garbage everywhere, and she feeds him garbage and she makes him eat it. She like feeds him food with maggots in it and forces it down his throat and stuff. It's disgusting. And you think that's like where the most of the grotesqueness is going to come from, but no. He works at a canning facility, I think. Again, read this a really long time ago. And so they have the cows there, and then he's in charge of putting the meat in the cans, I think. All you really need to know about this book is that it's really disgusting and there's cows. I don't want to tell you a lot about this book because I feel like knowing nothing going into it is the only way that you're actually going to read it. It's genuinely, it's an experience, but it's one that you'll never forget. It's one that you will wish you could forget. Like, to say that it's good is like, I don't quite know if I would say like, oh my god, it's so good, because it really, like, I had to stop, I had to take breaks reading it so many times. And like, I remember I was reading it and then I had to go get dinner, and I was eating meat in my dinner, and I was like I just could not do it because this book, oh my god, it's so crazy. But if you're in for like one of the most fucked up things you've ever read in your entire life, Cows. Next, we have a little bit of a more tame one. I read this in my most viewed video, actually. It's one of my extreme horror reading vlogs, and that is 100% Match. This book is so good. I feel like I may be crazy for being like, it's just a fun, giggly time, because this book is so disgusting. It's mainly like bodily fluid gross. Like, there's like snot and piss and all this, you know, gross like vomit, all this stuff. But it's basically about this man, and I don't remember character names, so you're gonna have to bear with me. It's about this man, and he wants to find his 100% match. He wants to find the girl of his dreams, and he will stop at no lengths to find her and to secure her in his life. But he's a bit of an odd guy, and this just kind of explores him, who he is, what he gets up to at his job at the fast food restaurant, and the woman that he chooses to pursue. Yeah, it has some good twists. It's quite gross. The cliffhangers every chapter are so good. It's just under 100 pages, so it's really quick. I really liked this one. It's one of my favorites, just like one and done quick reads. Next, we have another one that I'm going to have to say again, extreme trigger warning, this time for rape. It's very, it's not for everyone, okay? This is extreme horror. It's called No One Rides for Free by Judith Sonnet. I read this in the same vlog, I think. This book is basically following this mom, and she's driving. She's got her twin siblings, or not siblings, her two children in the car. I'm pretty sure they're twins. Again, some of these books, it's been a long time since I've read. A son and a daughter, and they're like college age, and she's either driving them to a campus tour or she's driving them to move in to their dorm. And so it's like really exciting. They're going off on their own. She's so excited about them following their dreams. It's so exciting, right? So immediately you're like, okay, what's gonna happen to these kids? What's gonna happen right now? They stop at a rest stop and a man gets in their car and holds them hostage, and many things are done to them by each other, by him, and it's basically a revenge story in the end, but there's a lot of suffering for the revenge and the like justice of it all. So it's definitely not for everyone. I know this is a trigger in particular that a lot of people don't want to see in their extreme horror at all. I personally find revenge stories of this kind of thing to be really gratifying. I think it's really satisfying to watch an abuser get abused, get killed in fiction. I think it's just really satisfying. This book, I had a really hard time getting through it again because it's just so hard to read something this graphic about this kind of thing, but I think it's very much worth it because the message and the overall tone at the end of the book is so like triumphant for the victims, and so like I don't know, it just felt very satisfying to finish it. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, I really recommend it. Then we have what is probably my favorite on the list. I don't know if I've said that already, but if I did, I was lying. This is my favorite. It's The Haar by David Sodergren. This book is one of the first extreme horror books that I read. I didn't read it in a video because I wasn't really making videos at the time, I don't think. And it is a like folk horror, I guess. It's about this woman, this old woman. She's like late 80s, I think, and her husband died a few years ago. And ever since, she's been kind of waiting to go with him, but not quite ready to give up on life, you know? Like she's not suicidal, she's not wanting to die. She's ready, like she feels like it's her time. She wants to be reunited with her husband. And she lives in this tiny Scottish town on like a big hill. It's basically like an island. One day she hears the news. It's basically like a population of like 20, and they're all like elderly folk and like people that have lived there for generations. Like her house is her pride and joy. Ever since her husband died, like is all she has left of him. She kept everything the same, and she wants to live in that house. She wants to die in the house, right? So a construction company, this like big billionaire construction company, buys the island, the like property of the entire municipality, and is going to bulldoze all their houses. So they offer her it was a lot of money to buy her property so that they can bulldoze her house and build a I can't remember if they're building like a factory or apartment building or something, but they've got this whole floor plan and it's like very highly anticipated. Like the whole community, the whole country is waiting for this to be built. But the folks in the town, in the little municipality, are like protesting it, but slowly they're all being worn down by the offer of more money, except for our main character. She does not want to leave her house. They say, you know, they're kind of shady, so they're like, if you don't want to leave the house, we bought the property, so we're just gonna bulldoze it anyway. If you don't leave, then, you know, and she's like, I'm gonna die in this house. I would rather die here protecting my home from you people than be chased out of my own home. Like this is where I raised my kids. This is where my husband lives. Like this is where my life is. So yeah, and as this is all happening, one day she goes down to the beach because like I said, it's like an islandish kind of thing. I don't know Scottish geography, but it's like a little island. And she finds this sea creature that she's never seen before, this strange little creature, and she feels this sense that it's talking to her, so she takes it home. It reminds her of her husband. It reminds her of something that he would find interest in, and so she takes it home, only to find out that it is a blood-sucking, flesh-eating parasite, and it demands blood. But she likes the little parasite because it can mimic humans, and it can reach into your brain, I think after consuming your blood, to recreate the likeness of somebody. So she's like, I have my husband back, you know, I just have to feed him bodies and I have my husband back. And, you know, we've still got the plot of construction people trying to bulldoze her town, threats from the company, the monster eating more and more people. It's so good. It's like under 300 pages, a little longer for an extreme horror book. They all tend to be pretty short, but it is so worth it. This book, oh my gosh, I want to reread it. Honestly, I need to read more of David Sodergren's work because he has a lot of books, and I just loved this so much. Like the writing, it was funny, it was sweet, it was like sad and bittersweet at times. The ending was so satisfying. Like it was just truly one of my favorite horror novels that I've read, so I really recommend that one. The next one is a really short one, so I won't say too much about it. It's called Test Town. I read this in a vlog as well. It's about this group of friends that are on a road trip, and one of them decides that they should stop at this little tourist attraction that's supposedly like a place that was like bombed by, what is it called, like atomic bombs or something. I think that's what it was. There was like radiation and the whole town was wiped out. And so they go into the town only to find that there's a bunch of mannequins in the town that are like dressed up in place so it looks like it's a fully populated town, and maybe it is a fully populated town populated by creatures. It's a creature feature. It's a good time. Next we have another one that is one of my favorites, and that is Blasphemy by Leeold. This is another godless book that I've never seen another human soul read, but it was genuinely one of my favorite books that I've read last year. It is so good. If you like religious horror, this one is for you. This one is for you, I promise. It is basically about this guy. He's an ex-con, and by ex-con I mean like he's in jail at the beginning of the book. He's about to get out of jail. In the last couple months that he was in jail, like he's been in jail multiple times. He's been thrown in, thrown out from, you know, like running drugs and money laundering and all these odd jobs, you know. And while he's in jail this time, he kind of found religion. He kind of started finding himself going to the church that was in the prison and kind of feeling like maybe I can change. Maybe this is what I need to like find a real job, be done with this life for good. I always say I'm going to be done with this life, but I never actually am done with it, you know. So he gets out of jail, and a guy that he met at the chapel in the jail says, I can get you a job on the outside with the church if you want to work with the church. And he was like, how do you know how to get a job with the church? What kind of job is this? And he was like, it's off paper if you're wondering, like it's still sketch. And he was like, what do you mean? It's the Catholic Church. Like, what kind of crimes would they be hiding under the table? And he's like, you would be surprised. Don't ask questions, just take the job. You'll get a lot of money. They'll protect you. And so he gets out of jail, is picked up by a sermon or a pastor or something, and lives in a church and does these tasks for them that get increasingly more demanding, going from like hiding evidence to transporting goods to killing people, protecting people. And all the while he's falling in love with a nun who works at the church, who may or may not be just as sketchy as he is. And it turns into one man trying to overthrow the corruption of the Catholic Church. It's very good. It's very good commentary on religion and corruption within organized religion, and how that can never be an entirely holy thing because it's also a business, it's also influencing, it's also a form of colonization, it's also, you know, all these things. What really is God? What really is important about having faith? Do you need to go to church to have faith? Do we all really pray to the same God? We're just talking about it differently, like things like that. It was so interesting and I loved it so much. I really recommend it. It's on Godless for like $2. Last book is another really crazy one. It's another erotic horror, and that is Love You to Bits by Justin Boot. I need to read more of his books. I did recently read Man's Best Friend. That one was crazy. This one is one of the most unhinged books I've ever read. It is basically about this teenage boy who gets caught exploring in his bedroom, right? And his mom is very religious. Okay, it's another religious horror. His mom is very religious, and she keeps punishing him. She keeps locking him in the cellar and like doing all this stuff, keeping him in solitary confinement and abusing him and doing all this stuff. And he gets fed up, so he goes on the internet and looks up how to summon a demon to curse his mom. And that's all I'm going to tell you. It is disgusting. It is so crazy. Whenever you think, oh, this is too far, they're not going to go any farther than this, like this is the most intense this book's going to get, and it's pretty intense, it takes it a step further. It's for the real freaks and crazy people out there that read the most unhinged shit with a straight face. Like, that's what this book is for. Okay, that is the last book that I have to recommend for you. So let me know if you've read any of these, if you like them, or if you do end up reading them because of this video. I would love to chat about them. If you want more recommendations, I've got plenty more. So plenty more where that came from, plenty more extreme horror vlogs to come. I will see you in a few days with another video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a friend. Please subscribe if you want to be a friend, and I'll see you later.